So, hello everyone, John here again with my roundup of the weekend's Championship and Premier League games. Now, if anybody hasn't checked it out already, I've done my roundup of West Ham versus Spurs. So by all means, please go and have a listen to, have a watch to that even. Go and watch that. As we know, if you have already seen the video, then you would know that the fixture was it was a loss to Spurs 3-2. If you haven't, I've just told you. Going to the rest of the games, Burnley were at home to Huddersfield, and that's a 0-0. That really surprises me. Burnley at home are normally very, very difficult. Huddersfield away from home have been pretty good. So a 0-0. I was expecting a Burnley win, to be honest with you. But yeah, that's a bit strange. That Everton were at home to AFC Bournemouth, and Everton were actually losing to Bournemouth at 1-0 originally, and then came back to win it 2-1. Man City were at home to Palace, and Man City absolutely destroyed them. I mean, seriously destroyed them. It's 5-0. Southampton were at home to Man United. They did a really good game, but as usual, Lukaku goes for goal, rebounds off the keeper, and Lukaku's still there to keep it. It's 1-0, and that's how it ended up. Southampton have played really well from what I saw. Stoke were at home to Chelsea. Chelsea beat Stoke 4-0. Now that's not an easy thing to do. It is for their squad. But it's not an easy thing to do in terms of actually going to Stoke. You know, as everybody knows, they're a very, very difficult team to break down. Swansea were at home to Watford. Watford beat Swansea 2-1. Again, not a surprise that Watford won it. They are very good on the road, and Swansea are can be very difficult to play against, but at the moment they're not really. I don't know, not sure what's going on there at the moment. Liverpool were away to Leicester City, and they beat Leicester 3-2. Now this is a very, very interesting game from the highlights. You know, you had Salah with a goal, Coutinho with a blinding free kick, absolutely Payet-esque, and then Okazaki came back in injury time of the first half, so make it 2-1. Jordan Henderson scored a goal to make it 3-2, and then literally 3-1, and then literally a minute later, Vardy scored to make it 3-2. I bet a lot of Liverpool fans were squeezing their asses watching this, because at the end of the day, it's, you know, to be 2-0 up, and then, you know, it's just to be 2-0 up and they go to 2-1, then to 3-1. You know, squeaky bum time at the best of times, because as great as Liverpool are, they are still very, very, very vulnerable in certain positions in certain games. Turning to the Championship, Brentford were away to Bolton, and Bolton lost it 3-0. I'm not surprised in any shape or form. When we played them in the Cup on Tuesday night, Bolton were terrible. It was the hardest they've worked all season by the looks of it, because they were absolutely getting knackered. Some of them were getting muscle cramps. It doesn't surprise me that Brentford beat them. Really, really doesn't. Derby were at home to Birmingham. That was a 1-1 draw. Fulham were at home to Middlesbrough. That was a 1-1 draw. I had Borough to do this. I was quite surprised at that. Leeds were at home to Ipswich, and Leeds beat Ipswich 3-2. Good on you, Leeds. Can't stand Ipswich. Awful club. Norwich were at home to Bristol City, and that was a 0-0 draw. Again, I think, if I remember correctly, in my roundup video predictions, I did say a draw, but I wasn't expecting a 0-0. Preston were at home to Millwall, and they drew 0-0. Preston, what's up with you? You can't beat Millwall, for fuck's sake. QPR at home to Burton, again a 0-0 draw. Reading were at home to Hull, a 1-1 draw. Wolves were at home to Barnsley and they beat Barnsley 2-1. Villa were at home to Notts Forest and beat them 2-1 as well. You know, some of those are absolute shockers. Some of those are very, very obvious. Sunday in the Premier League was Brighton at home to Newcastle and Brighton beat Newcastle 1-0. That was a shocker. It took 51 minutes for Hamed to score. Again, just surprised, absolutely surprised at that result. I was expecting it to be many goals, mostly, to be honest, from Newcastle rather than Brighton. But that's the way football goes sometimes. Then Sunday afternoon, the Sheffield derby. Wednesday were at home to United. United beat Wednesday 4-2. It sounds like it's an absolute cracker of a game. United 2-0 up in the first half, and then literally in the dying minutes, Hooper gets one back. And then Clark scores his second of the 77th minute after Lucas Hyle, I think he pronounced that, brought it back to 2-2. And then Duffy scored the fourth in the 67th minute. Must have been an absolutely shockingly brilliant game. It must have been. I mean, derbies are great. Championship derbies are great. But yeah, that surprised me. Again, it's a very, very surprising result. And turning to last night's game, Arsenal-West Brom. Arsenal beat West Brom 2-0 with a Lacazette brace, if I remember right. Let me just double check that. 20th minute and a 67th minute penalty. Now, Lacazette, as everybody knows, we were linked with them last season, albeit via Twitter more than anything else, with David Gold saying he's the player we're going after, blah 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 blah. Now the papers did say they did actually refer to him as Alexandre the Great. Bollocks, sorry, but it's West Brom. Now, because it's Tuesday night, there's a lot of Championship games going on, and they've literally just kicked off in the last couple of minutes. So I can't do a prediction. Actually, no, I will do a prediction because we're quite early in. Barnsley at home to QPR. I expect QPR to win that after the result they had at the weekend. Brentford at home to Derby. I expect Derby to come out all guns blazing, but Brentford to win that. Bristol City are at home to Bolton. I expect Bristol City to win that, as I've explained earlier. Bolton are at home to Villa. Burton Albion, I should say, are at home to Villa. I expect Villa to get an away win on that one. Cardiff are at home to Leeds. I expect that to be a very, very difficult possible draw. But I reckon I've got a funny feeling Leeds just might edge it. It might be a 3-2 or 2-1 to them. Hull are at home to Preston. I reckon that's going to be a draw. I mean, Hull haven't been all that brilliant. Ipswich are at home to Sunderland. Come on, you Mackhams. Beat those bastards. Get some points on the board. Middlesbrough at home to Norwich. I think it's going to be a north-east victory for both teams tonight. Millwall at home to Reading. I really hope Reading do them at the Den. And Forest at home to Fulham. I've got a funny feeling Forest are going to do this. Obviously there's Champions League games tonight, but I'm not interested in that. Even if West Ham were in the Champions League. I'll have more grey hairs if that ever happens. But I'm not going to do those roundups on those because it's league. It's not a league. Because you got players from all over the world. Well, mostly all over Europe. So no. Championship. But tomorrow night, Birmingham are at home to Sheffield Wednesday. I expect Wednesday to come out and beat them. And Sheffield United are at home to Wolves. I've got a funny feeling that might be a draw, but it might be a Wolves win, to be honest. Europa games on Thursday night. Turning to Friday, there's no Premier League. It's just one. It's a West London derby, QPR versus Fulham. Very, very interesting game. No idea what the result is going to be, if I'm brutally honest. I reckon it could be a 2-1 to QPR. Sorry, Steve. In the Premier League, it's Huddersfield Town versus Spurs, the early kickoff. I think Spurs are going to do that after their outrageous performance against us on Saturday morning. I reckon there's going to be another Saturday morning away win. Bournemouth are at home to Leicester. Leicester, don't know actually, to be honest, because Leicester, I reckon Leicester with the away win, just. United at home to Palace. Really, do I have to give a prediction? That's a banker, as everyone likes to say. At the moment, it's a banker. It's United all over that. Stoke are at home to Southampton. I think that's a 2-1 Stoke win. West Brom are at home to Watford. I've got a funny feeling there's going to be either 1-1 or a boring 0-0. We're at home to Swansea, so look out for my post-match reaction video when I get back about 4 or 5 o'clock. I'm hoping it's going to be a win. I think 2-1 to us. We beat them 1-0 last season at home when we started to turn things around. We regardless of the Spurs result, we are slowly starting to turn things around. So I think a 2-1 to us this time. I'm not sure. Well, it could be a 2-0 actually, depending on the lineup. I've got a funny feeling Bonnie's going to score, so I'd say 2-1. And the evening kickoff is Chelsea versus Man City. It's going to be a good game. It's going to be a hell of a game. And Sky have got it absolutely right to get. BT have got it absolutely right to get that game. I think it's going to be 3-2 to City. I think. Turning to the Championship on Saturday, 3 o'clock Bolton versus away to Villa. I think Villa are going to do that 2-1. Burton are at home to Wolves. I expect Wolves to win that one. Cardiff at home to Derby, 2-1 Derby. Hull City at home to Birmingham, Black Country Derby technically speaking. I would say Birmingham would lose that. Ipswich versus Bristol City. I've got a horrible feeling Ipswich are going to come away with a win there. Borough versus Brentford, 2-1 to Borough. Millwall versus Barnsley. I'm sorry guys, but my stalemates are going to hate me for this, but I think Millwall are going to do that. Barnsley are terrible at the moment. Notts Forest versus Sheffield United. I reckon Sheffield are going to just edge it. Preston North End versus Sunderland. I think it's a Mackham defeat. I think there. Reading and Norwich City are the evening kickoff, and I honestly think Reading are going to get something out of that. I think it could be a draw, but I reckon they'll win. Sunday, 3 games in the Premier League. The early kickoff is Arsenal versus Brighton. That's Arsenal for the win. Everton versus Burnley. 2-1 Everton. Newcastle versus Liverpool, 3-2 to Liverpool. And Championship is Sheffield Wednesday versus Leeds. I reckon Wednesday will do that. And that's it for the weekend games, because obviously we've got the the EFL trophy games, and some under 21s as well. So yeah, that's it for the video. Thanks very much for watching. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. If you like it, please subscribe and like the video. If you like what I'm doing, please subscribe anyway. So, nice to see you again. You'll hear from me in the next few days. As I say, I'll do a roundup video on Monday night. And there will be my Premier League. Actually, I'll probably do the roundup Sunday night, actually thinking about it. And there will be my post-match reaction to us versus Swansea up on Saturday as well. Saturday evening, probably. So, in the meantime, guys, thank you very much for your time. Nice to see you again. And I'll see you soon.